All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Today's topic that we'll be going over is the top 5 reasons to use the 1100 series magnetic level indicator. Also on today's agenda, we're gonna give you a brief overview of the principles of operations, so how the product works, the technical of why it works, and things like that. Then we're going to get into the actual main beef of the presentation, which is the top 5 reasons to use our MLI, the selling features, and what makes us better than the competition. Then we're going to go into some applications, where can you sell these, competition, how to order, and then also a quick summary. So jumping in here, we're going to go over the principles of operations first. So the 1100 series magnetic level indicator, and really all magnetic level indicators, consist of 3 main components: the chamber here, the float, and then also the indicator. So first off, the chamber is connected to a vessel that's filled up with some type of liquid or process material. So that process material will then flow into the process connections on the MLI, first through the bottom, fill up the chamber at the same rate as the level is in the tank. So you also need, somehow, for at least seal tanks, you need 2 process connections. That way the gas in the chamber, in the top part of the chamber, has a place to escape when the volume is displaced by the actual level rising in the chamber. So now that we have we have the ability to have the same level inside of a chamber as we do inside of the tank. How can we actually extract the liquid level to the outside world? So what we do is we stick a float inside of that chamber. That float will then ride on top of that level at the same rate as the level rises inside the chamber and the tank. So now what we do is inside of that float we stick a magnet. That magnet will then interact with another magnet on the outside of the chamber through the stainless steel chamber, and then flip flags accordingly to where the level's at. So anywhere where that magnet's at, that's going to be your indication of where the level's going to be. And then also this magnet is not only for just interacting with the flipper and indicator assembly. It can also be used to be coupled and strapped to the outside of the tank and work with other different types of technologies, such as a magnetostrictive transmitter, a reed switch transmitter, or also point level switches with reed switches inside of them as well. That's just a general overview of how our product works. There's also a bunch of other things that we could get into, but don't necessarily have the time today. But if you have any other questions, feel free to ask your inside sales representative or myself if you have more questions. So now getting into the top 5 reasons of why to use our 1100 series magnetic level indicator. So number 5, starting off the list, is our established weld and machine shop. So SOR has been manufacturing and welding chambers for over 30 years now. With our mechanical level line, we manufacture tens of thousands of chambered level switches every year, and it's a daily process for us, and we do it every single day. In 2006, SOR was actually named one of the top 10 machine shops in America by the American Machinist magazine. Now that's that's actually a pretty big deal to have such capabilities here at our factory, where we manufacture everything and where all of our engineers reside as well. Because what that does is it really allows us to have full control over our process, and then also the products and the quality of the products that we ship out of here every single day. We also have certified welders on staff that have the ability and welding procedures to really meet all the strict requirements that comes with manufacturing a product like this. And part of that is meeting the strict standards of ASME B31 and B33 piping codes. Also, with our 1100 series chambers, we're so efficient at welding chambers and doing it every single day that we actually are able to cost effectively not use extruded outlets for our chambers. A lot of our competitors will use what are called extruded tees, where they actually machine a hole in the pipe and then actually stretch the piping, the chamber, to create a branch connection. That really is just a cost down effort for them, so that they don't have to spend as much time welding and use the right welding procedures. Because if you don't use the right welding procedures, you can warp that pipe. So if they don't have that capability, it costs a lot of money in scrap and providing the right welders. Well, SOR actually has those welders on staff, and it's actually very easy for us to do. So that's a big selling feature for us, because what it does is it gives us a much stronger pipe. We're able to do Schedule 40 piping with ease as a standard, whereas a lot of our competitors only use Schedule 10. And the big thing is we're at the same price or lower than the competition. So moving on to number 4 here is our magnet strength and flipper design. So this is a twofer on our list, where number 4, our magnet strength, is we have the strongest magnet in the industry. So you can see our float design over here on the right in the picture, and what we have here is our float with an end cap on top, and then we have these sections, these weld sections, and then also weld stiffening rings. So these rings are placed inside the float accordingly to meet the specific design and specifications of the product, or the customer's application. So the higher pressure, the higher the temperature, the lower the SG, the more stiffening rings, the longer it will have to be, and the more requirement is to beef that float up. So if you have a low pressure, a low temperature, and a high SG application, you'll actually see a very small float, which ultimately is a lower cost float. And then inside of there, our magnet assembly is this gun belt magnet design that consists of rare earth Alnico 5 magnets. These magnets are actually the strongest in the industry. We tested it against our competitors, and our closest competitor was actually 10% lower than ours. That means that everyone below our closest competitors is even lower than 10%. So whoop-de-doo, what does that all mean? Having a strongest magnet in the industry and a strong magnet in general really gives us confidence that the level indication is correct, because really the magnet is really the key driver to the product functioning correctly. So this magnet interacts with the flippers on the outside. So the stronger the magnetic strength, the more confidence you have that those two magnets are going to interact properly, and you're going to have a good indication of where the level's at. The worst thing that can happen with this product is inconsistency with it working. So for instance, a lot of our competitors, you'll go in there and they'll hate MOI because they'll have one of our competitors that they don't do it right, or their flipper assemblies will always get decoupled, and they'll have one section down low that shows that's where the level at, and then also up top it shows that's where the level is at as well, and those flags will get stuck. So what that does is they don't really know where the level's at, so they can't trust it. So that's one of the biggest things that can go wrong. So we made sure to invest in our design and invest in our product to make sure that doesn't happen. What else does this magnet give us? It also allows us to go through thicker schedule piping. So the thicker the schedule piping, the further away those flags are going to be. So the further away those flags are going to be, the weaker the magnetic strength gets. So the stronger the magnet, inside of the float, the more thicker scheduled piping we can do. So that means we can do higher pressures, we can do thicker scheduled piping, higher temperatures, and so on. And then also we have a gun belt magnet design. So this gun belt magnet design, what it does is it gives us a consistent magnetic field. So as that float rises up and down inside that chamber, there's no guide to which way it spins as far as it rotates inside of that chamber. So you want to have a good, solid consistent magnetic field, so that any orientation that float is oriented, it'll have the same quality interaction with the flippers. So the second part of number 4 is our one-piece flipper design. So we have the strongest magnet in the industry, and what that does is, and we also need to have one of the best flipper designs in the industry as well. So what we use is a one-piece flipper design. A lot of our competitors, most of the leading competitors, use a two-piece flipper design. And they use a two-piece flipper design not for any benefit to the customer, but it's a benefit for them to lower their manufacturing costs. So what we have to do is actually paint one side, let it dry, turn it over, paint another side. Whereas our competitors, they can just easily paint the whole side of the flipper, stamp them together, and then they have their flipper design. Ours is a little bit more time-consuming, a little more costly for us, but doesn't increase our price. We realize that we need to be competitive in the marketplace, so this doesn't increase our price. We're giving a higher quality product for the same or lower price. Now, how does our flipper design actually benefit the customer? So what it does is our one-piece flipper design, when the temperature changes drastically from the highs to the lows, what this does is it causes the metal of that flipper to heat or contract and expand. Now, when you have a two-piece flipper design, those metals can get bound up and expand and contract differently. So what that does is it leaves room for those flippers to actually get bound up in the slots and really get stuck and not work properly. With our one-piece flipper design, we can handle those high temperature changes, and we have confidence that our flipper design will work really in all environmental conditions. Now, also with our flipper design, we have all of our flippers are magnetically coupled. So you can see here in the picture on the right here, this is actually our magnet inside of the flipper to make sure that every single flag is magnetically coupled. So these magnets consist of a north end and then also a south end. Now that locks those flippers in place. So things like high vibration and seismic activity, the flippers will not get turned over just by changes or vibration or anything like that, because they're actually locked in there by that magnetically coupled magnet inside of the flipper itself. Now, how do you flip the flipper then if they're all magnetically coupled? Well, the float, the magnet inside the float is so much stronger than those magnets inside the flipper. They will only break being coupled together unless a stronger magnet comes into play, that being the magnet inside the float. So now moving on to number 3. So number 3 is our willingness and ability to customize. So last year in 2016, SOR completed over 600 CSRs and almost 300 specs written. So for those of you who don't know, a CSR stands for a customer special request. Now what happens there is a customer will come to us, either a customer or a rep or someone will come to us asking for a special requirement to either modify our product or do something above and beyond to really solve their problem. And then what we will do is we will create a CSR. A CSR we will submit that to our engineering team, and they will then determine what it takes to solve that problem as far as design, and then also how much will it cost. So then as a result, we will create a spec. We will only create a spec, which is an actual all the procedures and design, and actually complete the design work for that custom solution only if we get an order from the customer. So as a result, we actually did 300 specs in the year of 2016. So that means we got 300 over almost half of those customers to be satisfied with the solution that we provided and the cost that we provided it at to actually give us a purchase order. Now, we also have engineers on staff as well to be able to handle these specific design, special modification, and configurations. So all day, every day, this is what they do. So we are here to be our customer's preferred partner. So we have that is one of our company-wide focuses, is to really drive that home to everyone in our organization, to be our customer's preferred partner. Whether that's out in manufacturing to provide a quality product, a quality lead time, and really break our backs to solve customer problems. And then also special MLI configurations are what we do. We do this all the time. Every MLI is almost a special. So really anything, we can pretty much do anything that any of our competitors can do. So you can, for an example, you can see this MLI that we did over here on the right. And it consists of this insulation blanket, a bridle system with one of our 2210 level switches, and then also a differential pressure transmitter with a stainless steel armored capillary diaphragm steel as well. Now we're talking high dollars here, so this unit is over $15,000. And so this is for our reps and our customers. This is a very high volume, high dollar product to be selling. Number 2 is our Vista Indicator and our wide flags. So our Vista Indicator is the largest viewing angle in the industry. So what it does is the lens and cover actually protrudes out a little bit, and the light will reflect off of that lens, off of the flippers back through that lens, and it will actually allow you to see 200 degree viewing angle. So that means that you can actually see behind the actual flipper assembly. Now the next closest in the industry is 140 degrees, 140 degree viewing angle. So we have gone above and beyond to really drive home our customers' ability to be able to see the product, because ultimately that's what this product is, and the functionality of the product is the customer being able to see where the level's at. So we really wanted to make sure that we can make that as easy as possible for them. So in addition to the viewing angle, we also have one of the widest flippers in the industry as well. So we advertise a forward viewing distance of 250 feet or more. Our flippers are actually up 1.5 inches is long, which is one of the longest in the industry. So it really allows, the wider the flags, the further away you can see it. You'll see a lot of competitors have very small, skinny indicators where you can really only see them effectively up close. And then one of the other features that we can do is different flag colors. So as a standard, we can do red and white flags, and then also black and yellow flags. But we can do a very wide variety of flag colors depending on whatever the customer needs. Now, finally, the number one reason to use our MLI over our customers is our delivery and price. So what we really are providing here with the 1100 series MLI is providing a very high quality product with very useful and beneficial industry leading features at a very low and competitive price. And then also in conjunction with all of that, we have the best lead times in the industry. Now, SOR is dedicated to never lose business due to lead time. If a customer can provide a product for a certain lead time, we will make sure that we can beat that, and we can provide it. If not the same, we can provide it better. Now, standard lead time is 5 weeks for quantities of under 6. However, we can and often do much better than that if asked. So if ever you need a lead time less than 5 weeks, and we quote you 5 weeks, don't just assume that that's all that we can do and that's it. If you need it quicker, ask us, and odds are we can and we will do it quicker. Now, just an example, SOR was able to just recently quote 33 24-foot MLIs at a 9-week lead time, with half of those being delivered in 4 weeks. Now, that's a huge order and task for our manufacturing department, because that consists of over 25,000 flippers, 792 feet of piping, and hundreds of hours of welding time. And for all of that to be delivered within a 9-week span, with everything else in our operations, this is not the only product line that we do, and this is not the only product line that we use welding and we use machining. So for us to be able to provide all of that in 9 weeks, in conjunction with all the other activities that our manufacturing is doing, that's a huge accomplishment for us, and it's something we're very proud of. So that wraps up the list. So now we're going to go into some applications here. So really, if you're looking for some applications on where to replace this product, or to replace existing products or existing applications, find out where your existing customers are using sight glass. So sight glass is one of the easiest ways to really get in with a customer and sell them MLI. If they're using sight glass, odds are that they're having some sort of issues with it, whether they don't like it or they're actually having some type of issues with high costs and high operating fees with the product. So the problem with sight glass is mainly the visibility and the operating costs of it. So a lot of people will have to they'll work great for a week or a month, but what you actually have to do over time is that glass gets foggy and blurry, and you have to actually go up there with a flashlight to even be able to see the level. And then over time, years, a flashlight won't even do you good. So you have to replace it after a year or even less than a year, because that glass is so clouded and so gunked up that you can't even see the level inside of the sight glass. So what you're providing as a solution is a maintenance-free operation and a maintenance-free solution, because really the MLI is a much higher price than these sight glasses. But what you're really giving them is a long-term solution that over time is a much lower cost as far as the lifespan of the product, the operating costs, and just the ease of use and reliability of the product as well. Bridles. Magnetic level indicators can also be used as bridles for other products. So if there's limited process connections on certain tanks, and they need a visual indication of the level as well as a say a 4 to 20 milliamp continuous output, they can't use a sight glass there because they can't bridle off of sight glasses. So what they can do is use an 1100 series magnetic level indicator and then bridle off of that, and then you can have a chamber for either level switches or guided wave radar or other type of sensing technologies that are bridled off of our chamber. This is an application that we did, and this is the same one that I was talking about earlier, and it's a good one because it really does showcase our abilities to provide a very custom unit. So it's a slug catcher for a natural gas company, and it provided a very custom unit that is out in the field today, and they're very happy with. It has the insulation blanket, the bridle system with the level switch, the 2210, and also the differential pressure transmitter. And then one thing I didn't note here is it also has a custom etch scale. So they wanted a scale that was etched to their specific requirements, and we have that ability to really do whatever they want to have on that scale. So if they want percentage, we can do that. If they want volume, we can do that. If they want metric units, we can do that as well. So there really is no limit to what we can put on that scale. Other applications. So really what it comes down to is do they have a level application, and do they want to be able to see that level up there at the tank? So these applications are all over plant applications. So chemical plants, pulp and paper applications, power plants, water and wastewater treatment plants, they're all over. And these are this is just to name a few applications for magnetic level indicator. So getting into how to order. So now that you have your customer on the hook and they're ready to buy MLIs, our MLI, what do you have to do? So all you have to do, the best way to give us all the information that we need in a time-effective manner is to fill out this application data sheet. So this application data sheet really has all the information we require to give you an accurate quote and an accurate product. If you don't know where to find this or you can't find it, just contact your inside sales representative and they'll be happy to help you out and provide it for you. Now that's all I have. Thanks everyone for joining. I'm going to open it up for questions here. I'll stick around here for the next 5-10 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat box. And then our next webinar will be sent out later on, and it will be announced here in a month or so. But yeah, thanks for everyone for joining, and I hope this was informative, and thanks for joining.